All right, all right. What's up, guys? How y'all doing? It's Josh, from KeepItTechie. I got another interview. This is a different time. I always like to bring on my man Gabe whenever he has time,
Hmm.
and this was his time. He can come on, so I'm excited to have him on again. You know what I'm saying? So we can talk about, tech. And have a good conversation and everything. So shout out to everybody that's here. Vision, I see you. What's up, man? And if you in the clouds, just go and hit that like button or whatever. I
Hmm.
appreciate you guys coming through and everything. Um, so what's up, Gabe, man? What's been going on?
Man, not too much, not too much, man. I stay around YouTube, go from place to place, but really a lot of times I'm working on different content for my channel. So, I just been making it happen. Combined with working and everything, it's almost like it's like I'm finding a new normal with YouTube content creation, being on YouTube and also working and just doing other side projects. So, very busy, very,
Hmm.
very, very, very busy. So, but good busy overall. But yeah, man, that's how
Yeah.
I've been doing. How about you, man? How you been
Oh,
doing?
good, good. Just hanging in there, man.
Yeah.
Trying to
Hmm.
keep things going. Just like you, that whole
Yeah.
work life balance. Trying to keep everything in
Hmm.
line. At the
Yeah.
house as well as at work, and continue.
Hmm.
Trying to be successful in this tech
Yeah.
field. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, so since that's new to you,
Hmm.
since that's new to your plate or whatever, I know you've been doing
Yeah.
content creation for a little while now, but
Yeah.
since that's new, is that affecting are you seeing that affecting anything with your work life balance, so to speak, with you know
Well, let's see. That's a good question because it is. So it's wild because the organization I work for, a lot of them see my content. So there's been times that I do interview for cybersecurity roles. So people that's coming into the organization, whether like a security analyst or a security consultant, somebody along those lines. It's been times where I've been in an interview and they said, "Oh wow, I've seen your YouTube videos. I follow you, and this is so cool to be interviewing with you." I'm like, and almost taken aback. I'm like, "Oh man, it's crazy because I didn't." It's like people know you before they even come in contact with you,
yeah.
which is really interesting. Another thing is that several other of my coworkers they watch my videos regularly too. So
Okay.
they'll like there's been times where I would make a post or I might have like a little like a spelling error or something, and they'd be like, "Oh, yo, check out your last video. You had a little spelling error." And then I'm like, "Oh man." So I think more visibility is something that's come around, and those are some of those intersections that I see between content creation on YouTube and work. So yeah,
Hmm.
man, those
Yeah,
are some
that's
of the
dope.
things.
That's dope.
Hmm.
Yeah, a couple of my coworkers,
Yeah,
they check in with me as well and talk about how
yeah,
they like
man.
the content. It's super dope, bro. It's interesting. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? People
Hmm.
can see you outside of work as well. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yep.
online. Dealing with
Yeah.
this. So
And I
it's
think
dope.
also I say something about that. You almost have to watch what you say a little
Yeah.
bit, right?
Yeah.
Because yeah, there's one thing where you're like, I'm trying to be myself. I'm trying to put out the content I want to put out there, but at the same time, these are people that you're working with. So not bringing up particular like projects
Yeah.
or people's names or organizations or customers. You can't really do a lot of that, but you got to watch what you say, right? So that's another
Hmm.
thing that I've been learning, and I'm sure that you've had a lot of that, a lot of that
Oh yeah.
experience. But
Yeah,
yeah. Mhm.
I
Yeah.
accidentally said something on a live stream.
Uh-oh.
This was like a couple years ago, man. Like,
Yeah.
where I think maybe
Mhm.
one of the people they figured out that I was talking about them, and it wasn't
Okay.
in a good light. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
It was like I think I tell you this story.
Mhm.
I started off as an analyst, and then the
Mhm.
database administrator left from one of the jobs, and so
Yeah.
somebody had to create it, and so I was the only one actually working on it. Working on
Yeah.
that actual project, and everybody else was just kind of twiddling their thumbs, trying to waiting
Mhm.
on what what to do.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Hit dog. The hit dog
I know,
hollered
right?
because they was the one that was doing
Yeah, twiddling
the
their
thumb
thumbs.
twiddling. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But
man.
it's cool though. It's cool. They
Yeah.
didn't take it too, too personal or whatever. So,
Right.
but you're right. You gotta watch what you say. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
In a lot of instances, especially if you don't want to offend anybody or also
Yeah.
give out company information at the same time as
Absolutely.
well. So,
Yeah. Because
yeah.
because people don't recognize that a lot of times the things that you say publicly about that organization, when you
Hmm.
sign that offer letter, a lot of times that comes with NDAs, non-disclosure agreements, or things that you can't share about your work. So I
Hmm.
think I would say people should definitely look at those contracts that they sign before they join organizations about what they can put out there publicly. So that's one
Exactly.
thing that I've been thinking about a lot. Yep.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up because
Yeah.
I mean it kind of reminds me of that viral video that just happened
Mm.
with the woman that worked as a mental health advisor. It seems like she
Okay.
may
Yeah.
have put out too much
Hmm.
information, and that's another reason why they made that decision to let her go. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So
Right.
yeah, I
Because
agree.
people working for organizations, I mean, a
Your
lot of times
representation.
you are a
Hmm.
representation of them to some degree, and they can choose to continue with you or not. So I mean,
Yeah.
hey, you really gotta know pros and cons of sharing information is something
Hmm.
that I've been learning a whole lot about content creation, especially on YouTube, being such pretty much the largest video audio sharing platform right now. So
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I'm
Exactly.
not trying to be
Exactly.
like her, is what
Yeah.
I'm saying. I ain't trying to
Exactly.
be like her. They call you into the office, like, we got something to talk. Watch this. Is this you? Like, right?
Yeah, you
Like,
can't deny it if you got your camera on. So
man, I wonder what that conversation was like
I
when they
know,
called her
right?
into the office the day she got fired. Like, hey, like, check out this TikTok video. You doing all these type of things. So,
Hmm.
anyway, I don't mean to beat the horse, but
Nah,
yeah,
you
I think
good.
that's really interesting. Yep.
Nah, you're right. You're right. You're right. And
Hmm.
shout out to a couple more people I see rolling in.
Hmm.
Kamora Brown. She said salute KeepItTechie and Struggle Security in the chat. Shout out to
Yeah.
you as well. I appreciate you coming through. Tech and Wonderlust. I gotta get you back on for another
Mhm.
interview, man.
Dope. Yeah, I
Tech
connected with this
Comrades.
brother on LinkedIn.
Oh
Yeah, I
yeah.
connected with this brother. Yeah, yeah. He came over and saw a couple of my videos. So yeah, definitely good to see you, man.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep. And Tiki Tiki and also my wife. Good to see you in the
Mhm.
chat as well.
Okay,
Appreciate you.
Mrs. Keep It Techie. What's up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Vision again. He says database admin. I hated SQL and T SQL. Yeah.
Hmm.
It's not bad once you get the hang of it. You know what I'm saying? It's not
Hmm.
as bad. So I get what you're saying, but it's not as bad. That's the way I looked at it as well when I first ran across
Hmm.
SQL. You know. Let me see who else. Tech and Wonderlust, he says that's exactly why I don't have a YouTube channel because I might go into trance roast some coworkers. Yeah.
Uh oh. Uh oh. He said he trying to roast them.
Yeah.
Maybe. Hey, listen. We all got those environments,
Yeah. Yeah.
company politics, and all
Hmm.
microaggressions and all that. So yeah, man.
Exactly.
I hear you.
Shout out Professor Black Ops as well and Real Hustles and Money Stacking. Good to see you as well. Shout out to all you guys. I definitely appreciate you guys coming through. Um, so what have what's new that you've been doing
Mhm.
on your channel, man, lately? And I got a
Okay,
couple
so
questions for you, but
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Go
so
ahead.
like overall, like at a high level, my channel is called Struggle Security,
Hmm.
where and my tagline is normalizing struggling in cybersecurity. Because I think a lot of times um, we don't hear about the struggle stories, quote unquote, right? We don't hear about the negative experiences that people have had, or the hurdles or the walls that people had to cross over in order to get to where they are today. We hear of the tech leads and the people who are more senior in their roles that are making a lot of content. So I think that one thing I think my channel brings is kind of it's kind of showing some transparency that it's not just an upward trajectory from beginning to end in career. So that's kind of what I share on my channel. And I think probably when you ask what are some of the most recent things that I did, I actually shared the last video I had was it was about how I failed my first cybersecurity certification and what that experience was like. So I failed my first cybersecurity certification exam, and that was one of my struggles. And I shared that experience, went into some detail about it, and yeah, that's some of the latest greatest things happening on my channel, and also what my channel is about. So
Yeah,
yeah, man.
and I'm glad you brought up that video.
Mhm. Yeah.
that was something that I was gonna ask you about, because
Hmm.
I think it's important that us as
Hmm.
tech guys, share those experiences for other people.
Yeah.
To just to understand that we are not, you know, superheroes in this stuff. I mean, you got to
Yeah.
work your way up to this stuff. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right. Hmm.
Yeah. And so I'm glad you did a video. I need to do
Hmm.
one like that as well. Just talking about
Yeah.
a situation that happened to me where I failed. And we all
Yeah.
have. You know what I'm saying? But I
Yes.
failed a security certification. It's
Hmm.
it's just understanding that all you have to do is just keep trying. I mean, it's kind of like that
Yeah.
old saying, fall off the horse, get back on it.
Absolutely.
Eventually you're gonna stay on it. So
And you know
yeah.
what was wild about that is that I was looking at the comment section from that video, and then it was like all these people that are super senior in the field, whether tech or cybersecurity, they start sharing like, "Hey, I failed my first CISSP exam. I failed the Network Plus 3 times. I failed the A+ exam the first time I took it." And I think that shows like, hey, people are not alone in that type of experience. Like you can fail an exam and still be successful down the line. Like it's not the end of the road. It's not the end of the story. And that was the major message that I was trying to get across on that video. I think it went across well, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Definitely. That's dope, man. And like I
Yeah.
said, man, it's that I think that also helps people, you know what I'm saying, just
Yeah.
knowing, that
Hmm.
there are other people out there that struggle with this stuff or learning this stuff.
Hmm.
But you can, just like they continued on and kept pushing, you can
Yep.
keep pushing too. So yep.
Hmm.
Yep.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, oh, shout out to Big Pontiac. I see you in the building. He says Saints hat
Hmm.
crispy. Yeah, salute to you, bro.
Let's
Yeah,
go.
yeah. And who else? How to make 100K in cyber? Yeah, Real Hustle asks a question. How do you make 180K in
uh,
cybersecurity?
how do you just make? Let's see. Well, you could do it multiple ways, right? Some people like start courses and
Hmm.
they and they sell courses on cybersecurity concepts and they make money from there. But I probably think one of the most common ways is to get a pretty senior role in cybersecurity. So when you're looking at 180K, you're probably looking at a principal architect
Hmm.
type of role. So cybersecurity principal consultant or something, or like a manager to some level or senior manager. That's
Hmm.
typically some of those roles that lie within that 180K. But of course, it's geography based. It's also organization based. If you in the West Coast, that's probably quicker to attain than if you're in the South, right?
Hmm.
So it's a lot of different ways, but it's a little bit of a loaded question. But yeah,
Yeah.
typically you would get somewhere in that 180K with some pretty senior roles in a geography that gives that type of compensation. So
Yeah. Yeah, and
yeah,
I that's why I started laughing in the beginning, because I knew it was
yeah,
loaded, a little loaded. but
right.
but
But I do
go
have a
ahead.
video that's called how I made 150K in cyber, or how I left a job that I was getting 150K salary in. So I left a 150K cybersecurity job. I was a cybersecurity architect. So I know, so that might be closer to that 180, not exactly, but that might be something helpful to check out on my channel for sure.
Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
Now, this is kind of a little bit separate from your
Yeah.
channel or anything, or the questions I
Yeah.
was going to ask you about your channel, but I recorded a video today about a
Hmm.
hack that happened at what's the name of that company? What's the name of that organization? Man, it's on the tip of my tongue. Um,
So it's so many people getting
LastPass.
hacked every day.
Yeah, I know.
Oh,
You heard
really?
about LastPass?
No, I haven't. Is it a
Okay.
recent thing?
Yeah, it just the
Okay.
25th, so a couple days ago, like Thursday, I
Mm.
believe. Anyway, it was saying that they hired a company.
Uh-oh.
And the first thing I thought about was, I wonder if I wonder if that's Gabe's company.
Uh-oh. Let me see.
So you
Is
might
it?
have some work coming down the pipe. Well, they say they hired
Is it?
somebody to investigate it, or they doing mitigate, or they gonna try to figure out some mitigation for
Right.
according to the article,
So,
that's what they stated.
yeah. Did they mention the company?
Nah, they didn't. So I was like, I
Okay.
wonder if that's Gabe.
It might be. So that's so boom, right? That's one thing that I do in my role as a consultant, is that I do incident response engagements.
Yeah.
I primarily stick closer to that of industrial environments like oil and gas environments, utility, electrical grid stuff, nuclear plants. But I tend to dabble here and there for incident response for all types of organizations. So yeah, man, I got to check our company feed to see. So we have like an on-call feed to see
Okay.
if we have any what you call inbounds. So let me just break that down just very, very quickly.
Go for it.
One thing that my organization does is that we sell something called incident response retainers, and these retainers are pretty much a guarantee that our organization will supply these larger organizations with cybersecurity professionals to help them respond to their incidents, so cybersecurity incidents.
Okay.
So you typically get onboarded, and there's like an annual type of subscription type of thing. And then if they get hit, right, then we send out people to help them address that issue, whether it's incident commanders, whether it's people that put hands on the keyboard, whether we're capturing logs and doing analysis to really try to understand what is the length, the breadth, and the depth of this particular incident. So it could be my organization because we sell those, but it could also be competitors. So, I'm gonna take a look into that. So thanks for sharing that with me, man.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. I thought about you as soon as I was, because it was
Mhm.
just one of those, cyber videos where I just talk about stuff that's going on in the news, and I seen it had
Yeah.
just happened like a couple
Yeah.
days ago, and I was like, this is the best time to actually put it out there since it just recently
Yeah.
happened, so people can learn
Absolutely.
about it. But yeah, I thought I
Mhm.
would ask you because when I was reading it, I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
we hired a firm, to come in and do. I immediately thought of you. So I was like, or
That's what
your
happens.
company. Yeah.
Yep. We get hacks all the time that come into the inbounds, and we just
hmm
send people out there to address it, whether remotely or even on site. So we've flown people out, flew people out to be
Yeah, flew people.
to be the cyber folk,
Cool,
to
cool.
be the cyber folk to help. So yeah, man.
Cool. So, Tech and Wonderlust, I definitely appreciate the super chat, and I
Dope.
see that you said you tried to send it using the super chat,
Mhm.
but you sent it again. So, I got you. I'm gonna read
Okay.
it for you. He says, "What do you brothers think about remote tech folks who work multiple companies at the same time?" Yeah, and we had a conversation about this before as well.
Yep.
But let me hear your thoughts, Gabe, first, and then I'll, you know.
Absolutely. So
Follow
that's
up.
been the thing, right? So there's all these different trends that are happening within tech, and that's actually one of them, right? That whole working remotely, but working multiple jobs remotely. So that's called, and I did a video on that too. You can check that out on my channel. It's called Overemployment, right?
Yep.
So it's working remotely, multiple jobs. I think if it works for you, it works. It works for you, man. Like I know I've had some experience with it. I was teaching so I was working as a senior consultant for an organization, senior cybersecurity consultant, and I was also working as an adjunct professor for a major public university. So
Mm-hmm.
I was doing both of these remotely. The school literally would send like a backdrop of the logo and the colors and everything. They sent me cameras and computers and all that stuff to literally have a classroom at home where I'm teaching entry-level cybersecurity roles and entry-level cybersecurity work. So that was pretty cool. But my issue was that I was finding that it was taxing. It was taking a lot out of me because I was working from the morning to the evening at times as a consultant. But then during the evening, because this was a West Coast school and I was from the East Coast, I was teaching from like 6 p.m. to 9 p.m.
Oh
Right.
yeah.
So I'm doing night classes and I'm working a full-time job. So I did that for probably about a good 5 or 6 months. So I did a semester. But then I was like, yeah, I'm out of there. So it was a lot for me, but I do think that it could be something manageable for others if they see a value in it. So
Mm-hmm.
it's been a little bit
Exactly.
of mine. How about you? What you think about that?
Nah.
Yeah.
I agree. It's
Mhm.
and it all depends on where the companies are, and then I've always had kind of a fear, like if I take on another
Mhm.
position, they gonna want to have scrum calls at the same time, or
Yeah.
different things
Yeah.
will conflict, or what if there's emergency in both companies at the exact same time where you got to work on
Okay.
some two different servers, and you using the
Mhm.
wrong passwords over here on accident, locking
Right.
out your
Right.
account because you got the passwords confused, or
That's a fact.
logging into the wrong system. I don't know, man. and I'm one of these type of people that's I can multitask, but I'm more of one track, especially on like
Mhm.
emergencies. I have to sit there and focus on it and handle that one thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Until I complete it. And then I can hop back and forth if I need to, but I gotta sit there and focus on it. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So that's my thoughts on it. You know what I'm saying? I think I
Yeah.
can handle it, but it may be kind of tough and taxing on you mentally as
Oh,
well
yeah.
as physically.
Yeah.
Just you know.
I mean, because right, think about if you have a family, right? That's
Mm-hmm.
one thing. You have to dedicate time to your family. You can't just work 24 hours a day.
Yep.
Some people do, but right, you said that there's some negatives to that. But
Mm-hmm.
or you could think of like if you have competing organizations. So we were talking about those NDAs and those things that you sign. There are some clauses within people's contracts that say that you can't do any moonlighting or like
Mm-hmm.
working another job while you're working there.
Oh
So
yeah.
so there can be some things that can put you in a legally compromised situation if you're working for multiple organizations, and you might be stepping on some legal toes or some some contract toes there.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
man.
Definitely. I agree.
Mhm.
And it's I don't know, bro. I don't think I could do it. I'd rather one job that I do that pays a whole lot of
Mhm.
money at the end of the day.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
versus you get what I'm
Yep.
saying? So that's
No,
how I
yeah.
feel about it.
And that's one thing that I covered in the video is that I was noticing that I was dedicating more time towards my regular gig. My
Hmm.
one gig is that my salary exponentially increased over time. So because I was able to do what you were saying, like focus in on one or two areas and not be scattered, right, in my efforts. Because you can't give everything to 5 different jobs. You can't give everything to 4 different jobs. So
Yep.
you know, yeah,
You gonna slack on something. Something is gonna
absolutely.
get, you gonna fall behind on, and then also you don't want to get
Uh-huh.
fired. Sorry, I
Yeah,
don't want to get fired.
yep.
I don't want to have that
Mhm.
because not that
In fact,
it can 100% follow you, but it can. You can kind of
mhm,
leave that off of application, but they eventually somebody's gonna be like, well, why you missing job history during this time period
right.
from this organization or whatever.
Mhm.
Um, I don't know. And then
No, that's a fact.
people that you've worked with, you know what I'm saying? It's a small world. The tech community is small.
Mhm.
It's small. So
Yeah,
uh I
right.
don't know.
No, that's a fact. I'm right there with you. I
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I found this page and I'm gonna bring it up right fast, but
Mhm.
this is you're right, it is a trend, and I was looking into this site a little while back. It's called overemployed.com. So
Yep.
you can check that out, you know what I'm saying? And for anybody that's interested in it, but it says work two
Yeah.
remote jobs, at the same time to be financially free. So it's a whole
Mhm.
kind of community around this
Yeah.
this thing.
There is.
Yeah.
It started on Reddit, right? So it started on Reddit. It was an overemployed subreddit, and then they
Okay.
transitioned to a website, and that's the current website. And it's wild because it's like they give all types of tips and tricks on
Mm-hmm.
things. They talk about like, so if you work in multiple jobs and you're remote, one thing that people like to do is that they might monitor people's activity on their websites, right?
Yep.
So they have like different tools, like this called like a mouse jiggler tool. Like it's wild to make it seem like you're moving things
Oh
or clicking
yeah.
on things as you're working. So it's just it's wild. It's wild. So
Cool, cool. Yeah, and
mhm,
for everybody that's coming in, I see, we up to like 28 people in the
mhm,
building. Shout out to all you guys coming through. You know what I'm saying? Just go down and hit that like button if you can. I definitely appreciate you guys. Um,
mhm.
but yeah, man, that's it's almost like a culture though. It's interesting that people
Right.
are actually doing this. I mean, and you can put yourself in a good situation especially if you only work in I don't know, maybe close to 100,000 and you secure another job making close to
Yeah.
100,000. You know what I'm saying? You
Mhm.
can and do it for like 6 months or something, or pick on a
Yeah.
contract for 6 months.
Yeah.
Along with your full time job. Then yeah, it
Yeah.
can help you get financially free,
Yeah.
but at the same time you could burn yourself out, you can get fired. It's a whole
Yeah.
bunch of downsides that could happen with it, you know what I'm saying,
Mhm.
that I don't want to take a chance on.
Yeah. That's one thing that a lot of times people do. They do it and they work contract roles. So these are roles that have an expiration date to them. There's nothing wrong with contracting, but it's like, say for instance, you have a family, right? You have some financial necessities that you need consistent income. You know, that the contracting overemployment life might be a little bit inconsistent from year to year. Like you don't necessarily know what that might look like going forward. So you know, it's all pluses and minuses. It's all trade-offs. It's all risk to everything. So you know, I just say always count the costs, evaluate it before you kind of just jump in it head first.
Exactly. Yeah. I agree. Yep. And you're right. I totally meant to bring that up a little earlier. I was focusing on trying to get the links and everything, but that's another issue I would see with that. And then we'll move on. I just wanted to say this one thing, but family, family stuff. I know you got a kid on the way, so man, you're gonna start seeing it.
I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm looking forward to it. I'm about to be a girl dad, man. We having a girl, so
that's cool.
Man.
That's cool. Absolutely. Congrats. Oh, and I meant to tell you this, and I meant to ask you this outside of a live stream, but if you guys got a
registry,
go down.
I'm gonna definitely send that your way.
Yeah,
absolutely, man. I definitely.
Yeah,
we'll do.
My wife asked me. She was like, "Do they have a registry?" Because I forgot to ask you. Well, I didn't even think about it, and she was like, just find out if they have a registry, and
send that boy to you.
Send it to me. You know,
it's wild because I was gonna put like a PS5 on the registry or something. My wife was like, "Don't do that. I'm like, I gotta find something to do because I'm gonna be off during that time. So because I get some paternity leave.
Oh yeah, that's speaking of that. Go on and talk about that, man. That's something that's written into your contract. You get
it's pretty dope. So a lot of times when you work for a lot of times these things are offered by like larger organizations. So as a father per child, I get 2 months off per child, paid time off. Yeah, man. So I'm really looking forward. I'm gonna probably split it up. I'm gonna do probably like a first month when the baby is first born, and the next month is when my wife goes back to work. Okay. She's gonna be off during that whole time, like 4 months or something. But yeah, man, and that's another thing, right? That's right there in the contract. That's part of the benefits and whatnot. So very happy about that. Very happy about that.
Yeah, that's dope. That's dope. Yeah, I've worked for a couple organizations that offer that as well. And I was able to take advantage of it as well during my wife's pregnancy. So yeah, that's dope. Yeah. Now, speaking of contracts, this was one thing I didn't want to lose. You brought up consulting, you brought up contracting. I did a little. I don't know if have you seen the little shorts I've been putting up or whatever?
Yeah. Okay. I'm seeing here and there. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I just put up one today about contract work and how it's unstable. Because you don't know, and you kind of brought it up already. You don't really know. You got to have that consistent money coming in. Contracting work may not be the best fit for everybody because it's unstable at the end of the day. And I just wanted you to talk on it or add to it if you've experienced something like that.
Yeah, that's exactly what I experienced. Is that so? Kind of earlier in my career, when I was kind of getting my cybersecurity technical feet under me, I would take contracts. So that was actually the first time that I moved from my home town in Detroit. I moved to Charlotte, North Carolina for a contract. And it was dope, right? I was very new in my career. I was learning a whole bunch, but they were promising initially like a year or two to be on this contract. It was initial like 10 to 12 months or so. Man, that contract was done at 10 months. So I had planned, I'm signing leases and everything for apartments. And so it's like, I'm thinking that, I'm going to be here for the entirety of these 2 years. But when I'm finding out that this is going to end after 10 to 12 months, I have to start to reprogram and reorient myself back to saying like, okay, what is my next gig? So it's like during like the last month, I'm hustling. I'm trying to find the next contract role. And it didn't come immediately because I was still very early in my career. It took probably about, I'm not saying this is a long time, but it took like about three weeks for me to kind of go from, so I was unemployed completely for about 3 to 4 weeks or so
Oh
before I went
yeah.
to my next role. Now that's different if I have a family, right? That's different if I have financial commitments, things like real estate, or if I have a mortgage or something, right? That's not something that's very conducive to more of a stable type of lifestyle. Very good output, right? Because my salary was way more, my experience was more, but a consistency of lifestyle does not lend to that of temporary contract. So yeah, man.
Yeah, and I
So
agree.
that
I
was some
agree.
of my experience. Yep.
Yeah, I 100% agree, man.
Yeah.
It can be stressful because
Yeah.
like I like I was trying to say in that little short that the inconsistency of those contracts, is very tough, especially if you got a family. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And sometimes the contract's gonna end. Sometimes they don't let you know that the contract what
Yep.
the end date is of the contract, because they're really just trying to fill a position. And the
Yes.
company, when they win those contracts, they are responsible to fill those positions throughout the full length of the contract. So
Yep.
they'll hire you on for the last month of the contract, and thinking, and they'll say, "Oh, we're looking at renewing this contract," but they're actually just in talks, and someone else could
Right.
outbid them or whatever for the renewal of that contract, and you stuck
Yes.
out there with that company, and they don't bring you over on a new contract. So
Yep.
yeah,
That's
it's
a real
unstable.
possibility. That's a
Yeah.
real possibility, because a lot of times those business cases and those contracts, people who are working the contracts don't have full visibility into that process. They don't, like, you. There's a level of risk that isn't communicated to you,
Yep.
right? That for those. So yeah, I'm right there with you, because I didn't know. Right? They were talking about, oh yeah, we want to extend, we want to do this, we want to do that, we want to send you out here, we want to send you out there. I'm like, all right, cool, it's all sounding good. But when that thing ended,
Yeah.
it ended earlier than what they had promised. So
Yep.
yeah,
And
pluses and
then
minuses.
yeah, and they just gather resumes, and that's another tactic that they use when bidding
Yep.
on these contracts. They just get a
Yep.
bunch of resumes for different positions, not
Mm-hmm.
even hiring these people yet, and they submit that
Yeah.
as part of the packet when
Yeah.
they bid on a contract, saying we got X amount of positions or people that are going to come on the contract, at
Mm-hmm.
these rates, and this is how we calculated everything. And I don't know, it's very, they can be kind of shady in it. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? That's all I'm saying.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, that's a fact. That's a fact, and I've experienced that. And then it's like it came to a point where they would kind of like try to like walk you, like treat you with kids gloves as your contract is going to end. It's like, all right, I get it, I'm out of here, like I'm on to my next thing. Or, man, let me tell you one situation I had. I was on a contract, and because the money had dried up, they had put me on, have you ever heard of this, like it's called furlough. Have you heard of that? It's like
Yeah.
so like they put me on furlough. This is a time where they say you are in kind of like a holding pattern until the contract negotiations and the money can become available. But you're not working and you're not getting paid. So it's like you're trying to
Yeah.
hold me to a role for a certain amount of time.
Yep.
Listen, I was on furlough, and then while I was on furlough, I didn't skip a step. I went to their competitors, and I talked to their competitors and had a job within a week, like a job offer from the competitors within a week. And then as soon as I tell them, I need y'all to release this furlough so that my employment status can be open, y'all can't just hold me. They came back with an offer for, how much was it more? About 50K more than what
Wow.
they were to extend my contract. So I'm like, why didn't y'all do that initially? Like,
Yeah.
as soon as they found that somebody else wanted me, then they want to offer me more for me to stay. I'm like, all right, it's a game, man.
Yeah, it
And I
is.
don't like playing in games. I
Yeah,
don't
it
like
is.
playing in
It's a big ass game, because at the end of the day, with government contracts or a
Yeah.
regular whatever, it, at the end of the day, they're only
Yeah.
paying you a percentage of what they're getting from the government, which I understand they
Right.
have expenses as well, but they gonna try to undercut you as much so they can profit as much from that position for the
Right.
work that you're doing. So if
Absolutely.
you getting paid 150,000 for this contract, best believe they're getting 500,000 from the government for that position.
Easily.
Yep.
Easily. So they're pocketing the majority while
Yeah.
still playing games with you on the back end. So
Exactly.
it's a thing. But like, right? So comparing that to like a full-time employee, right? There's a situation where you have contracts that you sign where there's a agreement between yourself and that organization about what employment looks like. It's not like of course they can fire you or kind of terminate your employment, but they typically, if they're bringing you in full time, they have long-term aspirations. They typically have long-term aspirations because they're training you. They're paying for different things like what I was mentioning with the PTO. They're paying for vacations and all that. And those are some things that don't come with contracting. So I mean, that could be a whole string within itself, but I don't mean to go too deep into it. But yeah, they play games, man. They play games, and I was tired. I was getting tired of the games the more senior I became, because I could become a huge asset to this organization if they didn't see me as temporary. And many times for contract roles, they would see you as a temporary resource to produce a particular output of work. And I'm like, yo, I don't want to be that no more, man. I want to build. Yeah,
you're just a number. You're just
yeah,
a number.
yeah. So it's interesting, but part of my experience for sure.
Yeah, and shout out to a couple people coming through. I see, more people showing up. We here. What's up, bro? Tay, my man. I can't remember if you passed Linux Plus or not. Let me know in the chat if you did or not, bro. Otherwise, if you retaking it, because I thought you told me you had to retake it, but just keep preparing for it, bro, and pass it, man, and you'll pass it this next time. Chris McDonald, he says, what are SCADA? Do you know what SCADA systems are?
SCADA? Yeah, SCADA. So SCADA stands for Supervisory Control and Data Acquisition Systems. So these are they go hand in hand with industrial control systems. So you're talking about programmable logic controllers, distributed control systems, SCADA. These are those systems that they get a digital input and they produce a physical output. So a SCADA system you can think of it as like a example would be like a door lock or something, or an HVAC system. On the back end, they use these SCADA systems in order to control the logic to produce certain physical output. So it's pretty cool, man.
Oh, yeah. I know it. I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yep.
It's making sense to me.
So SCADA typically is associated with electrical utility organizations. So SCADA and DCS, which are distributed control systems. Yeah. So when you talk about the LastPass thing, right? I don't do a whole bunch of like that with consumer, I guess, applications. But when you talk about SCADA and distributed control systems and industrial control systems, I'm all in that, especially as it concerns incident response. So yeah, man.
Cool. Yeah, and let me see. Thanks for answering that question for me. Hopefully that helps you out. Who is that? I can't remember. I didn't lost it.
That's the Real Hustle question, or Real Hustle throwing some questions.
Yeah, I see him. Oh, that was Chris McDonald. Yeah, shout out to you, bro. Hold on. What did I miss? Did you see something I missed?
I see Real Hustles and Money Stacking. Do you see him?
Yeah, I see him.
Or her?
Pay time.
Okay.
Yeah.
They got some questions in there. So he or she asked me, Gabe, are you on the offensive side of the world? Yeah, I am. So I'm kind of on both, really. So I do offensive. So I do like internal penetration tests. I do red teaming. I've done a whole bunch of that. I even speak at conferences about it. So like the SANS Industrial Control System Cybersecurity Summit, I actually did and that's on my community tab on my channel. It's a whole talk about using printers in order to compromise industrial control system environments. It's pretty cool because I've done it multiple times, and it's wild how a printer can be used to attack systems like the electrical grid or oil and gas environment. So yeah, man. Cool. Yeah, I do a little bit of offensive stuff too.
Cool. Yeah. And I think I seen another question here. Hold on, what you talking about, Zero? He says we're interviewing Gabe or not.
Man.
Is he being funny?
He being funny.
Okay.
I think he is.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Peace to you, Zero.
Yeah, peace, Zero.
Let me see. Oh, JM, quick question. He says,
Mhm.
for cybersecurity experts, I have an iPhone and an Apple Watch. I have
Okay.
to keep Bluetooth on so they can connect.
Yeah.
Is my phone vulnerable to bluejacking? Yes. But go ahead, let me let you answer. You probably would
Yeah,
know
I'm
more than
not.
me.
So with iOS applications, I'm not the most versed.
Hmm.
I know bluejacking is typically that's like an older attack, man. Like
Yeah.
bluejacking and there was another type of jacking. Uh, there
I know
was
they've
another
gotten
type of
better.
jacking attack.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I know they
Hmm.
got better with the security on Bluetooth. But I'm sorry,
Yeah.
go ahead. Let me let you.
No. I don't know a whole bunch about it.
Hmm.
Especially, I don't know how bluejacking applies to like Apple watches and iPhones. I haven't done a whole bunch of iOS cybersecurity stuff, so I can't speak deeply about it. But I
Hmm.
would look at I would I don't know, just throw it within Google and see what that says, like bluejacking and Apple iOS applications.
Yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
that's the thing. I as well don't know much about the dealing with the iPhone,
Hmm.
Blue Jack or Apple
Yeah.
Watches or whatever. But I do know there are some Bluetooth hacking tools in Cali that I've
Hmm.
seen that I've just opened up, not really
Yeah.
figured out how to use it. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but there are tools out there that can, yeah. And
Mhm.
I see Kamora saying blue snorfing. I think that's one of the
Yeah,
tools that's in there.
blue snarfing, that's another one, yeah,
Oh yeah, yeah,
yeah.
got you. And here we go, Professor Blackouts with the Stigs is blocking the printer
No,
attack.
no, not at all. Stigs do not block printer attack, because the thing about it is that so printers authenticate a lot of times network connected printers, they authenticate using NetBIOS name server, so NBNS,
Oh
and I think
yeah,
they also use Kerberos in order to authenticate to distribute controls. I mean, not distribute control systems, to Active Directory servers.
yeah.
So that's something that is passed over the wire, right? Passed over the network and cleared. Anyway, it's in my community tab, and I talk about it. So it's really a part of the functionality. So
Hmm.
Stigs aren't going to lock down a printer that like to a point where it can't print or it can't authenticate to an Active Directory server. So domain controller. So Stigs won't work in this case. Professor Blackhouse, they will not work. So
Yeah,
not at all.
yeah. So let me see. It was something else I wanted to ask you that I remember
Yeah.
I was talking to you on your channel and you brought up, or I was listening to you
Mhm.
and you brought up those golden handcuffs, and I wanted to
Yeah.
hear for
Mhm.
anybody, I wanted you to speak about what that actually means
Okay. So
when it
these
comes to
golden
jobs.
handcuffs,
Yeah.
yeah. So these golden handcuffs, it's kind of like a term that was popularized by a lot of like the big tech companies, with like Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Netflix, and Google. They typically would be kind of like a compensation package that gives you everything that you need, right? Everything that you need and more. So in many cases, it will be like a very high base salary
Hmm.
combined with stock incentives, right? So and those stock incentives would literally be like a repeat of what your base salary is. So say for instance, you're getting a base salary is 200K.
Hmm.
Then you might get a stock refresher of like 300K or something over the next 3 years. So you're already at 300K, and then you get a performance bonus of maybe 50K. And then you might get all these other perks and all these other things. It's pretty much like name your price, and that's what the company will give you in order to stay there.
Yeah.
And what happens is that these golden handcuffs, yeah, they gold and they shine, they real nice, but they're keeping you in a place in by compensating you very generously. So that's
Hmm.
kind of like the whole overall gist of what that is. So
Yeah,
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 man.
and it was an interesting conversation we had over on your channel, man. And
Hmm.
I don't know, I really enjoyed that conversation. It was dope,
Yeah.
and so I just wanted you to kind of kind of speak to it.
Oh
That's why I
yeah.
brought it up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this dope, man.
Yep.
Now it was something Chris McDonald asked again. He said,
Mhm.
would the both of you agree that learning about Active Directory is required for IT professionals?
For IT professionals, yeah, because so really in many enterprise environments, there's going to be a Windows Active Directory instance, right? There's going to be domain controllers. They're going to be DNS servers. They're going to be all of these assets, all of these things managed within a Windows Active Directory environment. A lot of it is, right? A lot of organizations are going towards the cloud, but even if you're talking about Microsoft Azure, there's Active Directory within cloud environments too.
Yep.
So, many organizations have chosen Windows Active Directory to manage their enterprise systems. So yeah, it just makes sense to learn Active Directory. And KeepItTechie, he has another YouTube channel who speaks heavily about that within the IT help desk, and he speaks a lot about Active Directory management. So
Yeah.
I don't know, but what you think, KeepItTechie?
Nah, I was finna add on to exactly what you're saying. You on point with
Yeah.
it. Active Directory is an important skill. Even if you want to be a Linux administrator, so to speak, you're still going to be working in a Windows environment. It's good to understand Active Directory. Active Directory
Yeah.
is used in everything. I mean, with Red Hat systems, they recently had some updates where it's more
Yeah.
they're able to add to, or it's more compatible with Active Directory than it's ever been before, in the past. So it's gonna be here, you know what I'm saying? A lot of organizations still, manage all their systems using Active Directory, group
Yep.
policy, all that, and so it's gonna be around. So it's best that to learn that when getting into it. It's one of those fundamental skills that we always talk about.
Right.
Uh,
It's so important, man.
yeah,
Because I know one time, just a short story about it is that I was doing an internal penetration test. So this is like one of those offensive cybersecurity services for a utility organization, and I captured some credentials. And I'm like, okay, cool. I think I was the domain admin or system admin or something, enterprise admin. I had a high level credential um, account, right? I had the username and the password for somebody with high credentials.
hmm
And now I get to the point where I'm at, really my next step was that I needed to add an additional user into the Active Directory environment that will have those high level privileges so that I can have an additional backdoor in the event that that first account gets changed or popped, right? But I didn't know how to do that, right? So just basic Windows Active Directory management. I didn't even know how to add an account that it had certain privileges to the domain in order for me to continue the penetration test. So Active Directory is extremely important in any IT career, including that of penetration testing and cybersecurity as a whole. So yeah, man.
Yep, yep.
Mm.
And one other, let me see. What do software engineers get paid? No, why do software engineers get paid more than cybersecurity techs? 300,000 managerial roles. I'm not sure. Do you
No, they
understand what
don't.
he's saying? Yeah.
Yeah, he says, why do software engineers get paid more than cybersecurity tech non-managerial roles? They don't.
Yeah.
No. A lot of times, like how you were mentioning before, KeepItTechie, there are so many different hacks. There are so many different organizations getting popped. There's
hmm
so much of a need for cybersecurity professionals and expertise within organizations that has driven up those salaries for cybersecurity roles. So if you're talking like 3 to 500K for tech roles, many times you're looking at those salaries that are in some of the most expensive places in the United States. So
Yeah.
you're looking at what is it, San Jose, or whatever Google
hmm
campuses are, or you're talking about New York, where these software engineers are that work for these huge organizations. They don't talk about how the cost of living is super high there, and that's why those salaries are high.
Oh yeah.
For a lot of cybersecurity roles, those salaries are just as high, right? I've experienced those. I've hired for those. I've received those type of salaries, and yeah, no, it's I wouldn't say they're always higher, but I think that when you're looking at the software engineering roles, many times those are associated with big tech organizations in high cost of living places.
hmm
So I wouldn't say that they're so much higher. They might be. It depends, I think, on the area, but no, I don't think that you can get a cybersecurity role for 300K, 300 to 500K based upon your skill set, the necessity of your role, and all that. So
hmm
I'm seeing them more normalizing. I'm seeing them coming closer and closer, where cybersecurity roles are coming closer to those software engineering roles. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And one thing I recommend for people, um, go on and go on these job board sites and look at
Mm-hmm.
just look at what's out there. and look, and that'll give you an idea of how much they're paying for a lot of these positions. Now, I know some
Right.
of them are, hiding the prices, but just look on multiple ones, and you'll kind of
Yeah.
see, you know,
Yep.
what's out there and how much they're paying for those types of positions or roles. Now,
Absolutely.
Tay asked another question, and I think
Mhm.
you might do, you might answer this well. But he says, which countries have the best hackers? China, Russia,
Mhm.
or Iran? Because we always hear those those three different
Yeah.
countries,
Yeah.
yeah,
There's
being talked
more.
about as hackers. Yeah, yeah,
So typically, like the places that are thought of to have the best ones, of course, Russia,
mm-hmm.
right? They've made some of the most sophisticated cybersecurity hacking tools that affect e- electrical grid organizations, right? So they pretty much Russia many times have hacked Ukraine's
Yeah,
electrical grid, kind of just throwing stuff out there. And I did a video on that also on my
mm-hmm.
channel. So definitely Russia is up there. Israel is big, right? Israel is huge for cybersecurity. So that's one that you should think about. The US, of course. China is really good, but a lot of times China utilizes they do more monitoring of things more than just like outright just hacking organizations. So they're they're really good. Iran is up there also, and I think another one is the UK. So
Mm-hmm.
those are kind of the top. Oh, and North Korea, of course, because North Korea mess you up, right? If you
Oh
mess
yeah,
up anything with
yeah.
them, I think there was like Sony hack before, like they
Oh
don't care,
yeah.
like they're ruthless. So yeah.
Cool,
So
cool,
those
cool.
are typically the top organizations that I've seen.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Mm.
Yep. And Area, you are not blocked. Shout out to you. I was getting to your comment. Shout out to you. I definitely appreciate you coming through. And Chris O'Donnell, yeah,
What happened?
this is a good statement. You know what I'm saying? He says, KeepItTechie, DOY means well, but
Oh.
he's wrong on CompTIA being obsolete. I keep seeing them as requirements for jobs here in Texas. And I was telling him that during that time when we were going back and forth about it. And I don't mind talking about this,
Mhm.
but yeah, I was trying to tell him that, bro. Like, not saying he's wrong or he's 100% wrong, but it's just I'm just trying to get as many people in here or get as many
Yeah.
people as I can into the tech field. And some people have different levels of knowledge that they have coming into this. If
Yeah.
you've barely understood how to turn on a computer, then you might want to take uh uh what's the other one? ITF plus. You might want to take that, or A plus. You're gonna have to start
Yeah.
with that in order to get good at technology or get good
Yeah.
or get a job in this field, especially if you don't know about it. So that's all I was trying to say during that time period. If you want to add something,
Yeah.
Gabe, go ahead.
No, like absolutely. Like there are many people, there are more people transitioning from no cybersecurity or no tech knowledge in as a whole into cybersecurity than there were before. So I think that the fact that the CompTIA certs allow for a stepping stone rather than a leap, I think that they are super duper in demand. Like we put out roles all the time. I work for probably one of the largest technology consulting firms in the world. And
Mm-hmm.
people that I interview all the time, I see CompTIA certifications, and they have been very well equipped to address the questions and the issues, and they've done very good interviewing. And they've been successful in my organization. And it's like, yeah, people have their preferences, but I'm not about to just sell people cloud certifications as a starter to jump into tech. That just doesn't make sense, because there are a level of technology prerequisites that you
Yep.
can get from CompTIA that will help you go into the cloud field. So
Mm-hmm.
it's not I don't think it's smart to just sell one thing, but I think that there's a tailored solution that people need for their learning and their growth.
Yeah.
And I just think that in many circles, and not even just him. Like I've seen things on Twitter where people are like, "Cloud is the way. Only do cloud. Don't
Yeah.
don't don't do anything else." And there's people who jumped into cloud roles with a AWS. What is that? The first one, the associate or something,
Yeah.
and
Practitioner or
they've
whatever.
gotten the practitioner, and they've got they've gotten a reality check
Yep.
from just having that certification and not having other technology skills.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
yeah, yeah, he convinced me with all that, because that's not that's not what it is. Cloud is cool, but it's not the first thing for a lot of people who don't have any experience in IT.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. I agree. I agree. And let me see. It was something else.
Mhm.
But I think that's all the questions I got for you.
Yeah,
But
man.
if somebody else, got any other questions going on, ask them in the chat. I think Gabe got like
Mhm.
2 minutes on the stream.
A couple minutes.
No, I'm just playing.
Yeah.
A couple minutes.
No, just joking. Yeah.
um, yeah. So if you guys got any question for him, going on and ask him. But definitely get down and struggle security, man. He's constant. He's on the roll. He's putting out videos every week from
Right.
what I see, and
Mhm.
I try to share them as much as possible. I really like what Gabe is doing on his channel. He puts out great information, you know what I'm saying, that can
It's
help you
greatly
get into
appreciated.
this field. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And so I want to
Thank you,
support
man,
him as much as I can.
and I've appreciated you, Kev Tech, Professor Black Ops, like all you guys have really embraced me as I've started my content creation journey. So just as I always say, I just want to thank you all for being there for me, right? And pushing my content out there for like interviews, even like this. This definitely helps to push out the content that I'm putting forward. And really having that tech network here on YouTube, I really appreciate you all for sure. So I just want to
Okay.
say thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and Ariel,
yeah.
I'm so sorry I missed your question. I scrolled back
Hmm.
up and I found it, but it says,
Sure.
so Gabe, I believe my phone has been compromised. Do you know what
Uh-oh.
steps to take for something like this?
I would say to call your service provider or the manufacturer of the phone. I believe they have hotlines and things that you can do that to help to address that issue.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times they do have an application that you can log into. So if you have an iPhone, they have like the Find My iPhone type of application, and you can like erase your phone and request a new one or go through some steps through that organization who has made that phone in order to help to address it. But I would lean heavily on your manufacturer and your service provider.
Yeah,
Yep.
especially if it's under warranty and all that stuff. And I know that's
Mhm.
yeah, and
Yep.
I know there's, but anyway, that's a good question. Appreciate it, Ariel.
Mhm.
Yeah, and thanks for answering, Gabe. But yeah, shout out to you,
Yeah.
man, for doing this. Hold on, Chris. Let me see
Absolutely.
what he say. Chris, will Gabe create a course at some point? Yeah, that's another,
Yeah.
that's another
One
question.
day, it's kind of in the making, but just not right now yet. But yeah, I am planning on creating a course to really try to get down into some of the things like the necessary. So I think that one thing that I see a gap in many cases is that people will come with certifications. They might come with some level of experience,
Mm-hmm.
but for certain roles, they don't have specific experience with certain tools, or they don't have specific experience in certain areas. I want to kind of help to bridge that gap. So you know how with software engineers, they have different projects and different portfolios that they can provide to say, hey, this is a project that I did that helps to display the type of experience that I have and what I can actually do from the ground up, right? Hitting the ground running. I think that cybersecurity needs something like that, like very practical projects, which shows exactly what you can do hitting the ground. So that's kind of what I want my course to be surrounded around. Is that like I want you to go into the course and I want you to walk away from the course with projects that you can show and discuss with hiring managers and during interviews that you can say, hey, these are my projects and these are the skills that I possess in order for me to go to the next level or come into your organization. So yes, of course, it's coming, and it will be really aligned with how to create some of those cybersecurity projects to really get you up to speed to really jump into the workforce. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, man.
Yeah, and Chris McDonald asked one. He asked another question. He says, keep it
Sure.
techie, and you don't, um, you ain't got to answer this question, Gabe. But he says, will y'all ever redo the Black Brain Trust? Those were
Mhm.
amazing streams. I downloaded several. Y'all work is definitely appreciated, brothers. Yeah, shout out to those guys. Those guys. They actually started going in a different direction from where I was trying to go with my channel. So I haven't been around as much as I wish I could if they were still doing
Mhm.
the streams the way they were doing it. So shout out to those guys. I'm just doing my own thing over here on Keep It Techie, and no shade or anything to those guys. Salute to them. Keep pushing with what they doing, but they're not going in the same direction I'm going in. Now
Absolutely.
shout out to Blackavelli for the 199 super chat. Definitely appreciate it, bro. Definitely appreciate it,
Hmm.
bro. Any donation is definitely appreciated at this channel, bro. So Dead
So,
Set Anime, he says, do you guys have any experience in the area of cloud rendering for graphics? And how those networks are built, not for exchange of information, but for collective purposes processing?
nope.
Now cloud, yeah, I can probably touch on this. Rendering, do you mean like video rendering or for graphics? And I'm assuming that's what you're talking about. But they do have applications you could put in the cloud for rendering, and you'll be using. But that's the thing, you're gonna pay for that. You know,
Hmm.
the more CPU power you use, the more. I think they have some servers now where you can get video cores, you know, for 'em, or those. I don't know. I can't remember, but high RAM virtual machines that you can set up. I know on
Hmm.
Linode you can that can help with the processing or rendering of graphics and stuff like that. But you're gonna pay for it. You know what I'm saying? And I think Linode actually has. And by the way, I'm sponsored by Linode, so shout out to them. If you guys want to looking for a cloud platform, check out Linode. They actually have a great cloud platform, but they do have some applications that allow you to set up, you know, servers that can handle things like that. So shout
Hmm.
out. Yeah, good question, there set. Tay, oh, did you want to add? I'm sorry, add anything to that or no?
I
No.
have no idea what that is. So yeah, I think you said plenty. I
Yeah,
don't
and
know what that
that's what
is.
I figured. That's why I just want to
I think
answer.
that's
Huh?
I think like that's one skill that I'm getting very good at is recognizing what I don't know
Yeah.
and not being afraid to say I don't know. I have no idea. And like I think that's a thing that a lot of tech professionals need to develop. Like you don't always have to have an answer to the question. It's
Mm-hmm.
cool if you don't know, but it's also good to really try to understand what that question is. And a lot of times in the work environment, it's not only what you don't know, but it's actually going after or knowing where to go to get the answer.
Yep.
Whether it's another person you work with, whether it's some resources online that you know. So in short, I don't know anything about that, but Keep It Techie provided you plenty of information on that. So yeah.
Cool, cool. Yeah. Nah,
Yep.
hey, you're right, man. It's almost a skill. You gotta
Yeah, man.
or it's not really a skill, but it's just something you gotta talk yourself into forcing
Yeah.
yourself to do, you know, or just I don't know, man. It depends on what type of personality you are. You should get
Right.
comfortable with saying that you don't know something. And
Yeah.
that's part of the you know the interview processing as well, you know, like
Yes.
process as well. You need to be comfortable with saying that you don't understand how to do something, but you do
Mhm.
know where to look to find an answer, or
Yep.
you at least have a plan on how you can figure that out. So yeah.
Yes. It's so important, man. I've
Hmm.
just been learning that more and more. And
Yeah.
even when I notice like less senior people within my organization, if I notice that they're starting to go through like the process of trying to make something up or make up an answer, I'm
Hmm.
like, I understand that you probably don't know. Like, I don't do it in front of everybody, of course. Only
Yeah.
if it's like a one-on-one. Like I get it. Like I get that you gave a couple of inputs and you tried, but it's okay to say you don't know, right? Let's work together because I don't know and you don't know, but
Hmm.
let's work together to try to get to a no for both of us, right? So
Yeah.
I do that a lot. I do that a lot. Like
Yeah.
you don't know the answer, and it's cool
Hmm.
that you don't know because I'm not a know-it-all. I do not know everything. As much as certain people on this YouTube environment try to act like I know everything, I don't. I do not, and I am the first person to tell you I don't. So
And especially like working on projects and stuff, I mean, you wasting
yeah,
time.
yes, it's
we
money.
get to the point where we both don't know, and we
Yep.
could just try to find a solution or work together to come up with a
Right,
solution for whatever the problem is, instead of
right,
wasting time.
right, 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 right. Yeah, I send emails like that. I'm saying, hey, this is what I understand from your question, and I'm working on getting the answer.
Hmm.
Like
Yeah.
stuff like that. Like that can be as simple as like, hey, I'm gonna find an answer. And that'll help me to be able to direct my focus, direct my efforts
Hmm.
into finding the answer rather than flubbing an answer that's not gonna get me to what I'm trying to do. So yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to keep Gabe too long, you know what I'm saying?
No, it's all good.
Uh uh but somebody did ask you to talk about Stuxnet, but I know you got a video on your channel. If you want to point them that way, that's up to
That
you
video
though.
on
If you want to
Stuxnet.
explain about it or talk about it, that's fine.
I actually need to do a video on Stuxnet.
I
Did I
thought
do a
you
video?
talk about. I thought you talked about it on at
Talk
least
about
talked about it
Stuxnet.
on a video.
I
I
think I
don't think
might
you
have.
did a video specifically
Yeah.
for it though. Yeah, you're right.
So in the interest of time, there's a Stuxnet video coming soon. The Struggle Security YouTube channel is coming soon, and I'll spare you the details until that video drops. So
Yeah.
feel free to subscribe, and you can see that video one day on the channel.
Yeah, and so you guys know,
Yeah.
Gabe's channel, Struggle Security, is pinned to the comments. So just click up there and click on his channel and subscribe. Definitely appreciate it. And shout out to my girl Tam. How you doing? Good to see you. I haven't seen you
What's up?
in a little while. I need to get over to y'all channel as well. Y'all doing some great things over there, Women in Linux. Definitely support them. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to them. Game
Absolutely.
over. Shout out for the super chat. I definitely appreciate it. Let me see. Who else? Doing good in school and IT. But yeah. Shout out to everybody that came through. I'm gonna go down and close it out because it's I know it's getting late on the East Coast, and then you know, I got stuff I got to do for the evening as well out here. But hey, shout out. I mean, thanks for coming on, Gabe. I definitely appreciate you. You know, doing this, and anytime you want me to come over there, or you know, anytime you know you want to come over here and talk about what you got going on, man, the channel is open to you. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, man. It's definitely appreciated. And thanks again. And yeah, I don't have much more to add, but other than subscribe, hit the notification bell. It's so funny because my wife mocks me all the time. She was like, "Hey, subscribe, hit the notification bell, Struggle Secure." I'm like, "All right, Joe, you ain't about to be playing me. Like, I'm not even online right now. You ain't about to be playing me." So she had this whole little mocking thing that she do. It's pretty cool. So, you know, but subscribe, hit the notification bell if you want to get more and more of the Struggle Security content where I normalize struggling in cybersecurity. That's it.
And shout out to everybody again for coming
Yeah.
through. I definitely appreciate it, and I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend and have a very productive week. So hope you guys have a wonderful day and keep it techie.
Absolutely.